What's going on, everybody? It's Jacob for Why Tuesday. I'm here paying the toll at the toll booth.
It's $2 out of 10.
Why, thank you very much. Where are we exactly?
You are here outside, north of the airport.
Yep.
In Denver, Colorado.
Denver, Colorado.
3, 4, 5, 5 is 10, and a receipt for you.
Tell me about Fort Collins. So we gotta go. I mean, there are people behind us. It's a nice place.
It's a nice place. It's 16 miles. One more toll plaza to your exit.
Yep.
Number 47.
Yep.
And when you get there, it's only 45 minutes.
Oh, thank you so much.
Love it.
Thank you.
It's a wonderful.
Bye now. So anyways, we're headed up to Fort Collins, Colorado, because Fort Collins is in a place called Larimer County, Colorado, where in 2004, the voter turnout during the presidential election was 94%. So we're going up there to talk to the county clerk and recorder, Scott Doyle, to see how we might replicate those successes on a national level. All right, so we're inside the actual office of Scott Doyle. He's the county clerk and recorder for Larimer County, Colorado, correct?
That's right.
So, well, first, why don't you tell us a little bit about where are we actually right now in Larimer County?
Well, we're in the courthouse in Larimer County, located on West Mountain in Fort Collins, Colorado, so
That's where we are. Right. Scott Doyle says the reason why voter turnout is so high in Larimer, Colorado is because of the use of vote centers, a concept which he created. In Larimer and in several other locations throughout the U.S. that use vote centers, you don't have to vote at your home precinct. You can vote at one of many vote centers, which might be closer to where you work or more convenient to where you are, depending on what you're doing during Election Day. In a nutshell, what is a vote center?
a vote center is just a voting location is all. It's a polling place.
And it's a polling
It's
place.
a big polling place.
But why it's unique is because you can actually, there is no wrong place to vote in essence, right?
No, there's no wrong place to vote. Anywhere you show up to vote on Election Day is the right place to vote. The fact of the matter was, there were a lot of people that I saw in the 2000 presidential election that didn't know where to go to vote. And so they would go to the wrong precinct, they would be directed across town somewhere else, and you know, a lot of them ended up in the courthouse trying to do emergency registration, which essentially is nothing more than changing their address, and then they moved into county so they could vote. And the courthouse ended up full of people. It lasted a long time, and there were those people that showed up after the 7 o'clock bell rang that were en route from some precinct somewhere, I suppose. They couldn't get in and vote. So they should be able to vote where they show up to vote. That's a driver for this whole thing. You know, a vote center is located, there's a vote center located near where people work, it's where they live, they're on public transit routes, those kinds of things. And so if someone is on their way to get groceries, if they're taking a break at lunchtime at their workplace, there's going to be a vote center close by that they can make it to, and they're not going to have to get up early and try and get to the polls and vote before going to work or rush home at night to make that, get in that big long line before 7 o'clock that usually happens. You know, there's always activities in the morning, noon, and then in the evening at the close of the polls, and vote centers just make it convenient for the public to vote. It's you know, when precincts were created, it's, you know, we don't live like we did 200 years ago. Why should we have to vote like we did 200 years ago?
Vote centers are popular but also controversial, particularly in bigger cities where long lines and delays have occurred because of technological problems at the vote centers.
You really can't pull it off unless you use these electronic systems. You know, we all want to make it easier to vote. But, you know, if you get into a situation where you don't know if that vote's going to be counted properly, or if you make it such that, you know, if a technological, we'll call it a glitch, happens, right, you end up disenfranchising thousands of people. Remember, even those people, and God bless them, who stood in line for 8 hours in Denver, hopefully they eventually voted. Imagine how many other people on a work day, as you know, on Tuesday, you know, drive by, see these lines and say, forget it, right, I'm not even going to take a shot at it.
If you were running, you know, the elections for New York City, for example, or, you know, Denver even, how do you make vote centers work on that level?
You know, that would deserve some study, Jacob, but I think that if I were to just look into that and just make a from the hip shot on that with you standing here today, I think that I would probably start breaking it down, as opposed to maybe opening voting up in a large metropolitan area like Denver. Just go wherever you want to vote. There's too many voters, too
You wouldn't have it at the football stadium, for example.
No. I'd find the right locations. Vote centers are where vote centers are located, but I'd probably break it down into, say, zip codes. You can vote in your zip code, that kind of thing. Keep it manageable.
So instead of on your block or at your local precinct, make it within a kind of a little bit more geographically spaced out area.
Yeah, it's that sort of suits the way we live today. So
It's all about common sense, huh?
I think so. Isn't that too bad?
Scott Doyle, everybody, thanks very much for tuning in today. Whytuesday.org. Thanks again.
Like Everett?
Got it.